So now we'll go over some acupressure points to support both yin and yang. And so we are transitioning from the most yin time of year, winter, associated with the water element and the kidneys and bladder. And we're transitioning into a more yang time of year, spring, associated with the wood element. Maybe you can feel a little bit of pent-up energy, like you are a little seed ready to burst out of the soil and sprout. And maybe the seed isn't as angsty as we might feel after being buried in snow and cold, or whatever the weather patterns may be where you live. But there is perhaps in some way you can feel a shift at this time of year, where right now it's early March, and in New England is where I'm located. And so there's a very, very distinct shift, I think, that you can feel at this time. And there's a kind of, tends to be an impatience to stampede forward and kind of reclaim the time and the light that we feel like we've been deprived of for the past months. Especially this past winter has been brutal in terms of snowfall. And so it's important to, yes, it's great to get out there, get outside, start to move, but to do so consciously, and especially the older we get, or that perhaps if we've been more sedentary, to be mindful of how we're moving and how quickly we're moving, and to make sure that we warm ourselves up a bit, and also watch our step. This time of year people can be really prone to injury. But it's an exciting time. It's a great time. So we will talk about some points on the kidney channels, as well as one point on the renmai, or the conception vessel that runs through the midline of the body, all to support kidney yin and yang, which are the foundation of yin and yang in our body, in ourselves. And so important to find that right balance as we're moving in through this transition seasonally, and also this new year that we're entering into, the year of the fire horse, fire being the most yang of the elements, and especially combined with the horse, this powerful forward movement, just galloping forward. There can be a sense of kind of urgency, intensity, and we just came out of the year of the wood snake. So wood, as we were saying, is more of a yang element, but snake is more of a yin energy. So certainly more of a yin energy than we are moving into. So this can be a transition that takes some mindfulness to navigate with grace. So these points I offer these points to kind of help us navigate that transition. So the first one we'll talk about is kidney 6. Shining sea is how it's one of its translations. So a very yin nourishing point in particular. So this point is a nice calming point that's good for heart yin deficiency or just general yin deficiency. So for the heart in particular, could manifest with trouble staying asleep, or a restlessness, agitation, perhaps hot flashes, or feeling warm in particular areas. There's something called 5 palm heat, that you feel like some heat in your hands and your feet and your chest, but just a kind of feeling of heat that's not complete, like not a feeling hot all the time all over your body. It's a deficiency heat that comes with yin deficiency. And dryness can often go along with yin deficiency, perhaps a dry throat, dry mouth, even a swollen, sore throat. This point can help with the kidneys connect with the throat. Red, swollen, painful eyes. Also, this is a big point for certain kinds of constipation. So if you have signs of constipation, signs of yin deficiency with constipation, like a red tongue without a coat or without much coating, a rapid kind of thin pulse, or tight pulse, which you can check out my videos on pulse and tongue for more about that. But if you've got those signs paired with constipation, kidney 6 can certainly be a helpful point, a helpful distal point. This point helps to regulate the lower jiao or the lower abdomen. Can also be helpful with menstrual issues, feeling of heat or cold in the lower abdomen, perhaps bloating, and as I said, a very calming point. Also can be used locally for pain in the legs, for cramps in the feet. And so where this point is located is underneath the ankle, the inner ankle. So if you feel the top of your, let's see, if you feel the top of your ankle bone, and you come down from that, you slide down into you're always looking for some kind of a little space with the acupressure points, and this one is certainly a very small space. Even with a needle, sometimes it's hard to really find a good space. But this point is located between two ligamentous bundles, so the ligaments connect bone to bone. So it's this little kind of crevice between the ligaments underneath the inner ankle bone. And if you want to get really precise, the distance from the top so you'll feel kind of the crest of the ankle, and then you're going to come down 1 sun, which is about the length of, from the top of your thumb down to that first knuckle is 1 sun. So this is you put this at the crest of your ankle and then come directly down. And so it will be that distance down. So just a little, like less than your thumbnail's length down from the ankle. But as always, feel for where you feel the most sensation in that area. You should feel some kind of an ache or some sensation. And this point may be a good one to use your nail to get into that little crevice. You can also circle the point or apply pressure in whatever way feels good. So just to show you again, you come down, you can put your knuckle of your thumb at the crest of the inner ankle bone, and then right at the end of the thumb, you can fall into hopefully a little space. That is kidney 6, shining sea, very yin nourishing point in particular. And then the next one we'll talk about is kidney 7. So just 1 point up on the meridian from that, returning current. And this is the metal point on the kidney channel. So all of the channels, the major channels, have one of each element points. So this is the metal point for the kidney channel. Metal is the mother of the water element. So in the cycle of the 5 elements, you can start with wood, and then fire, and then earth, metal, water. So metal, the element that comes before on the cycle is called the mother of that element. So it plays a really tonifying, nourishing role. Hence, this is a very nourishing, tonifying point. It can nourish both kidney yin and yang. It is kind of known to be more of the yang nourishing or tonifying point on the kidney channel. And this one you can find by coming back from the ankle, that inner ankle, into this little gully. And this is actually kidney 3, which I've talked about on a previous video if you want to visit that. It's halfway between the Achilles tendon and the ankle bone. So you can find kidney 3 first, and then we're going to go up too soon, directly up on that inner leg. And too soon you can measure with your finger. You can use your index finger, and it's from the top of your index finger down to that middle knuckle. That is too soon. And these measurements are proportionate to your body. So if you're finding it on someone taller than you, you might go a little further, or someone shorter, a little shorter distance. So kind of sliding up, and again, always feeling for where you feel an ache or sensation. And you can use the knuckle of your thumb or index finger. You can just use the pad of your thumb, and you can circle the point, or simply press and hold, or pulse it to activate that point. And so kidney 7, as I was saying, is a major yang tonic. This, and also relating to the metal element, which is associated with the lung. The lung plays a big role in controlling the opening and closing of the pores, and so it plays a big role in regulating sweat. And so what I'm getting at is that this point, kidney 7, has a big role in regulating sweat, whether any kind of inappropriate sweating or lack thereof. So this point is a major one used for night sweats, used in conjunction with Heart 6 in particular. So just briefly, Heart 6 is a half soon down from the wrist on the pinky side. So the heart channel runs up to the pinky. And so you'll feel a little tendon, and you come in from that tendon. And a half soon is like the length. Remember, a soon is from the tip of your thumb to that first knuckle. So a half soon would be about the length of your thumb. So just that tiny distance down from your wrist crease. So you can feel for the wrist crease, that's another heart point, and then come down just a half soon or a thumbnail's length. And this might be a good one for the nail as well, because it's everything's kind of tightly packed in the wrist. So Heart 6 and Kidney 7 together, major combination for night sweating, for heart yin deficiency, helping to regulate sweat. But also Kidney 7 can help promote sweating. For example, in the case of edema, so all different kinds of edema, whether it's acute or chronic, Kidney 7 can help to regulate by promoting sweating to release the buildup of body fluids, or promoting urination. So it plays a role in regulating urination as well. It also drains damp and damp heat, clears damp heat. So we're talking about in another video earlier on bladder pathologies about bladder damp heat. So this is a point that can treat bladder damp heat, presenting as conditions like UTIs. So if someone's getting frequent UTIs, this could be a sign of underlying kidney deficiency. So this point can help to tonify the kidneys to get to the root of that issue. And this also strengthens the lower back. So a lot of the kidney and bladder points can help to strengthen a weak low back in particular, or to alleviate pain from the low back. That's often has to do with some kind of a water deficiency or a kidney deficiency, water element deficiency. So lastly, we'll talk about REN 4, or conception vessel 4. And this point is, first of all, the Renmai, or the conception vessel, goes directly through the midline of the front of the body. And it is and REN 4 is located underneath the belly button. So a lot of these points, the anatomical landmark that you use as reference is the belly button. So if you had surgery or something that kind of obscured where your belly button was, you can just kind of try to estimate where it was. And so this point is located 3 soon beneath the belly button directly. And you can find 3 soon is the distance with your own hand of your 4 fingers together. So the breadth of your 4 fingers. So you just can put your hand right underneath. So my belly button's here. You put your hand right underneath and come down so it's right on this lower abdomen, kind of usually right where like people's pant line is. And so this is a major point for the kidneys, for both kidney yin and yang. You can also use moxa with this point, in particular if you'd like to strengthen the yang. So if you have the tools for that, you know how to practice that, or you can simply apply some kind of heat to that area. And this is a point to fortify what's called source chi, kind of the chi we come into this life with, as well as our essence or jing, again, we come into this life with. So really deeply nourishing. Also for things like weak low back, or back pain, especially in the elderly or people who have had just chronic issues, urinary issues with deficiency signs. So again, you can check out pulse and tongue diagnosis videos for what are deficient pulse and tongue presentations. This point also fortifies the spleen and warms the spleen. So really, the kidneys being kind of the root of our yin and yang, any deficiency of yin or yang in any of the other organs can be benefited by supporting the kidney yin and yang. So spleen deficiency, or spleen yang deficiency could look like real lethargy, fatigue, weakness of the limbs, diarrhea with deficiency, tongue and pulse presentations. This point also can be beneficial for fertility. If you have issues with conceiving, can benefit the uterus, regulate the lower jiao or the lower abdomen, and benefit the bladder. So urinary issues, pain or distension, with signs of cold and deficiency. And it can also restore collapse. So if you are unconscious, you won't be able to use this point on yourself, but if someone else is unconscious, this is a point that could be useful, particularly with moxibustion, paired with some other points on the renmai. So really deeply nourishing, tonifying point. And I should say, how you know whether you need more yin or yang nourishment, and with that, again, you can go back to those tongue and pulse videos, take a look at your tongue, take a listen to your pulse to see whether you might lean more one way or the other. Yin deficiency tends to present with heat signs, but again, not like you have a fever, or you're someone who's just always runs hot and has a red face. That's more like full heat. So yin deficiency, it's like you're wired and tired. You're kind of running on fumes, but you're always on the go, maybe physically kind of wiry. The pulse might feel thin and hard, or it's just called tight, and might be faster rate. The tongue would be more red. The coating would be either just not there, or or a partial coating, and stress, just stressed, trouble staying asleep in particular, restless, agitated, irritable. Those can be signs of yin deficiency with some deficient heat. And yang deficiency, tired and acting tired, just slow moving, perhaps depressed, and depressed in a way that, like exercise movement isn't really doing it for you. And a tongue that would be pale, maybe kind of puffy or swollen, and perhaps kind of wet, rather than with yin deficiency, more dry tongue, more thirsty, and with yin deficiency too, a key sign, or a sign that indicates yin deficiency is thirst, but not like wanting to guzzle down fluids, but just kind of always sipping on things. And so with yang deficiency, not really thirsty, the pulse could be deep, so you don't really feel it at the surface layers. You have to press down to feel it, if at all. Maybe slow, a little slow. So if you feel like you lean more towards one or the other, that could indicate what needs more support, perhaps both. So you can use both or all these points. And I hope that they help to support you and me as we move into the spring season. So thank you for watching, and have a great week.